banger. Stop trying to be a good person. Lessons from Machiavelli. Let's see what's going on. It's better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both.
You are tired. Maybe you don't even know exactly why, but you feel it. You feel like you are always carrying an invisible weight, as if it were your obligation to keep everything in balance. Please, everyone, avoid conflicts, always be kind, understanding, polite. You learned early on that being
I'm not reacting to the whole
a
video.
good person was the right thing to do, that the good win in the end, that if you are kind, others will reciprocate, that it's enough to be fair, honest, humble, and the world will recognize that. But what if I told you that all of this is a lie, a comfortable lie, taught to keep you well-behaved, predictable, controllable? How many times have you stayed silent to keep the peace? How many times have you erased yourself just to avoid disappointing anyone? How many times have you let someone disrespect you, take advantage of you, and still you smiled, said, "It's all good," swallowed your tears, anger, pride, in the name of a supposed virtue that only made you be ignored? Listen carefully. The world does not reward the nice guys. The world rewards the strategic ones. If you are here, it's because you have already felt this in your skin. You have been frustrated, trying to be the nice guy, the good.
The real reason why people try to be the nice guy because the world wants you to, of course, like he just said, be trained. But to go even further than that, motherfuckers, it's really a thing like the world wants you to feel like you less than so they can control you. I mean, think about it. Like, whenever you go to a young buck, the motherfucker like 14, 13 years old, if you're trying your hardest to help him get out of a bad situation and he just be like, man, ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, how would that make you feel? And that's the reason behind why you feel that way is the reason why you act the way you do. Because me personally, I just be like, all right, little motherfucker, and I'll let him do him. But a lot of people gonna feel bad and they gonna feel played because the little motherfucker distant. For another example, whenever you speak to somebody, it's my second one, I'm leaving it here. When you speak to somebody and you be like, well, hey, how you doing? They just look at you and they look away. How do you feel? If you feel less than a person, less of yourself because of that, you gotta understand, bro. You're living through other people's eyes. And when you live this way, now you're gonna live in like when you producing actions that's gonna cause you to feel regret, that's gonna cause you to feel shame, that's gonna make you feel like you made a mistake. And a lot of times people avoid that. They want to avoid that, but really and truly, that's where your power is at. Your power is in making a mistake. Your power is in, you shouldn't feel shamed. You shouldn't feel, regret. You should understand that making mistakes is a part of you becoming a greater man. Because making mistakes is what's going to cause you to live in a life of abundance. But if you have a lot of reasoning behind you not doing it, you're not going to do it. Especially when you grow up with it. Like when you go into school, if you ain't got certain clothes, you might get put in a less status category. If you're not doing nothing with yourself, you might get put, if you got lower grades, you might get put in a lesser status category. These are all status quos. But some people live their life this way. They live their whole life that way, living from other people, from the perception of other people. And when you do that, of course you're going to get looked at as somebody who less than. Because they see you as a bum. They're going to see you as a bum. They're going to see you as somebody who's lame. They're going to see somebody who's corny. But it's not about that. It's about the way you see yourself. If you see yourself this way, they can think that all they want. They're not going to ever say it to you. They're not going to ever do it to you. They might try you, but they ain't going to get that far. Why? Because you're not going to allow it to get that far.
Good person, the understanding friend. And now you are starting to realize that the more you try to be accepted, the less you are respected. The more you give in, the more they demand. The more you give, the less you are valued. And that's where Machiavelli comes in. Machiavelli was not the devil that many say. He was perhaps the first to tell the naked truth about how power works. He understood something that most people refuse to accept, that pure morality, detached from reality, is a trap. That being seen as good is not the same.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it.
Same as being effective, fair, or worthy. In this video, we are going to talk, without filters, without masks, about why you need to stop trying to be a good person. And no, that doesn't mean becoming someone cruel or cold. It means waking up. Awakening from the childish dream that the world is fair and that it's enough to be virtuous, to be rewarded. We will expose the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. As long as you are trying to please everyone, you will be in their hands, a hostage of your own kindness. And if you are already tired of being used, ignored, discarded, maybe it's time to change, to learn from Machiavelli what they never taught you, and finally take crying, explaining themselves, trying to prove they are deserving. Meanwhile, those who set boundaries, who say no, who present themselves clearly, they are respected. They have a voice. They have space. And why? Because blind kindness is seen as weakness. Because those who never confront...
It is weakness. It is weakness. Blind kindness is weakness. It is weakness. Especially if you being somebody who crossing your boundaries. If you being kind to somebody that's crossing your boundaries, it's weakness. It is weakness. Like, I'm gonna be honest, and let me tell y'all how cut this world really is, bro. They had this one girl that I talked to, bro. I remember we was talking to each other, and I was playing with her pussy. I was doing a whole bunch of things to her, and I was like, but we was ending the night. I decided to just tease her. I wasn't gonna do anything with her. I just wanted to, and call it a night. But later that night, she told me, she was like, nah, like, you seem like you need a woman that's somewhat like a pet. And I told her, I was like, well, you seem like you do seem like you used to having to deal with soft niggas. I could tell I'm the first nigga, real nigga you ever had to deal with. And she was like, yeah, I'll be honest, I'm kind of scared a little bit. My point is this, is that with both of us understanding the roles that we play, with her being a woman that usually, gets what she wants, and I'm a man that usually get what I want, only we will understand what we say, what we mean when we say, you seem like you would need a pet. Like, of course, me personally, I don't believe that. But I understood what she was saying. You know what I'm saying? It's because you gotta understand they got people in this world that will blindly submit to a woman and do whatever a woman wants. And with that being the case, bro, when a woman see that, and that's why I always say, you shouldn't really take it as a bad thing when some women reject you, because some women, just off of your presence, they know I can't run this nigga. They know that. And they be that kind of woman. They be like the kind of women who want guys to beg for them. They want guys to plead and give them a reason why they want that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? They want that guy. So, with that being the case, you gotta understand, man, that it's not blind to women. It's not blind to anybody if you are just blindly kind. Like, whether you accept it or not, it doesn't change it from being the truth. It doesn't change that.
Front, never threaten. And those who do not threaten are not taken seriously. They are seen as a resource, not as a presence, as a tool, not as an individual. You can kill yourself trying to please, but if you do not represent power or consequence, no one will hesitate to use you. It's harsh, I know, but it's the reality. Machiavelli said that a leader should not seek to be loved, but to be feared, if forced to choose between the two. And what did he mean by that? That true respect arises from the perception that you are someone with the power to act, that you cannot be trampled without reaction, that you're not a replaceable piece in someone else's game. And this applies to you too. If you continue living to be pleasant, you will continue to be seen as someone easy to discard. Not because you are a bad person, but because the world does not reward those who fade away. It's time to understand where this unhealthy desire to be accepted all the time comes from. Because behind your kindness, there is something deeper. Something that may have been sabotaging you for years. And that is exactly what we will explore now. In the next part, we will dive into the psychological roots of those who live trying to please, and discover why often being nice is just a disguised form of fear. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Like, you really can be a puppet. Before you know it, you'll be a puppet, bro.
To don't respond, to you're so polite. And so, little by little, you molded yourself to fit what others expected. But what no one told you is that pleasing all the time is an emotional trap. A psychological prison built with poisoned compliments and punishments disguised as education. You learned that if you pleased others, you would be loved, and that if you showed anger, set boundaries, or were selfish, you would be rejected. So you did what any mind would do to survive. You adapted. The problem is that this adaptation turned into submission. Today, you no longer know how to say no without feeling guilty. You feel responsible.
Guys, UMGC is waiving their application fee through May 30th. So if you've been thinking about a degree or
For the well-being of others, even if it destroys you inside. You get frustrated, but keep it to yourself. You get disappointed, but forgive too quickly. You exhaust yourself trying to maintain an image that others expect. Not because it is your essence, but because it is what you learned gave you security. But here's a reality check. This is not kindness. This is fear. Fear of being rejected. Fear of not being loved. Fear of being seen as a bad person. Fear of being who you really are, with desires, with anger, with boundaries, with a voice. And this fear has turned you into someone who sabotages themselves, someone who hides behind socially accepted but emotionally destructive behavior. And the most tragic part, you don't even realize you're doing this. You call it empathy, but it's fear of confrontation. You call it understanding, but it's fear of abandonment. You call it kindness, but it's fear of not being enough. Your kindness is, in fact, a mask, an unconscious strategy to avoid the pain of rejection. But this mask has a very high cost. It suffocates your authenticity, your power, and your dignity. And if you don't take off this mask, it will stick to your skin. It will become your identity. And one day, you will look in the mirror and no longer know who you truly are. But there is a way back. And to find it, we need to learn from someone who understood the power of image, perception, and strategy like no one else.
Now, this is what I couldn't explain. Some of it I don't agree with, but I like some of it. I do understand exactly where you're coming from. But this is what I got to tell y'all. Like, it turns from not just strategy, bro. It turns to focus. You become picky about what you choose to focus on, bro. That makes the difference. That makes the difference, bro.
Machiavelli. In the next ethics and your integrity, stop now. Machiavelli warned over 500 years ago, this path is beautiful, but dangerous. In the real world, it is not the good who win, it is the effective who win. And
that's what I always say, bro. That's like one of my new sayings. Like, I always say, in a real way. Well, I've always said that, by the way. I did not take that from, I don't remember his name. The turtle looking nigga. But I say in a real way, and I always say, nigga, this ain't no movie. I always say that. The reason why I say that is because when you really think about a lot of shit that works like that, it be in movies. It don't be in real life. It do not work like, and sometimes it do work like that in movies. Like you read between like one of the most pump fake characters in a movie is the first Spider-Man. Like he's good, he's a superhero. The girl wants him, but he doesn't know. He's scared to say that he wants the girl. In real life, he would have been friend zone forever. 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 He would have been the nigga that he would have been the nigga that let me tell y'all like this. And that's the reason why whenever they got married, she cheated on him. It's because it's like he was the epitome of the motherfucker that's so nice that and so nervous and don't want to be seen and so scared to not be seen a certain kind of way that if you really look at Spider-Man's story, the only reason why he was the way he was is because he didn't want to be seen a certain way in his uncle's eyes. Like if you really look at it, you know what I'm saying, the fact that his uncle died because of that, that was the reason why he was Spider-Man, the good Spider-Man. Like if you really look at all of it, when he became effective Spider-Man, the Spider-Man that got the woman, the Spider-Man that was effective at beating the bad guys, that really was good at beating the bad guys, he was a winner. But the thing is that the girl that wanted him, because he wanted seen him as a such and such guy, she didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? The one who thought, oh, you should be this way, not that way. She didn't like him. It's because she placed an expectation that it wasn't around what he really wanted to be, who he really was. She thought she had an expectation of what she thought he should be. And that's the reason why from the first one, she threw herself at him in so many ways and he did not go for it. She threw herself at and she thinking to herself, oh, he don't want me. Whole time, he was just scared to talk to her. You know what I'm saying? This is why I always say, bro, like, it's better off, you better off not living for other people, you better off living for yourself, because that's when it come down, that's when you actually start to realize why you shouldn't care. You start to realize why you shouldn't care. Because the reason why she wanted Spider-Man to begin with is because she thought that he didn't care. She thought that he didn't care. So she thought to herself, oh my God, this nigga don't give a fuck. I keep throwing myself at him and he always saying he busy, he be missing out. It's like he don't even think about me. Like, the whole time, he ain't in love with her. He's in love. That nigga just scared. That's what's like when you really look at it. Like it's really like motherfuckers don't be thinking about the actual effectiveness of shit. They be trying to present a image, and that's where they fuck up, because it's when you really don't give a fuck is when she like you. It's when you really don't give a fuck when you start winning. It's when you really don't give a fuck is when you get what you want out of everything. Now, when it come down to it, are you a genuine person? You don't have to be nice to be a good person. You don't have to, you can be a good person, but you don't want to be a nice person. That's why I always say stop trying to be a good person, because a lot of you motherfuckers don't really know what a good person is. You know what I'm saying? Like, an actual good person is a very effective person. Is a very effective person. Very effective, very efficient person. But he might not come off that way. He might not. She might not.
Effectiveness in the game of life requires strategy. It requires understanding that people do not act motivated by your goodness. They act driven by interest, fear, and power. In The Prince, Machiavelli writes, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few feel what you really are." This sentence is a punch. It unmasks the illusion that being true, pure, and authentic is enough to earn respect. The reality is harsh. People do not see your intention. They react to your appearance, your image, your impact. You may be the most just person in the world, but if you seem weak, you will be treated as weak. You may have the most generous heart, but if you do not inspire respect, you will be ignored. And that is why the prince, and here the prince is you, anyone who wants to take control of their own life, cannot be naive. He must appear virtuous when it is convenient and be strategic when it is necessary.
Rough skin? Scrub, cleanse, and moisturize in one with the new Dove Mint Body and Face Scrub.
I knew I was underwater. I just didn't realize I was this underwater.
Machiavelli says, "The prince must know how to use the nature of the animal well. He must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to terrify wolves."
Gotta be everything.
This
Like, you really gotta be like, that's why I always, like, you gotta really know everything. Like, that's why niggas be like, man, you a great man because he did this, because he did that. Man, this motherfucker was getting every story that every time he ends somebody else's story, they talk about how they manipulating this man. Like, if you ever look at Napoleon, look at Napoleon. Napoleon is seen as a very great man in this world. But if you ever look at the stories that they tell about Napoleon, like other figures talk about Napoleon and how he fits into their story, he always get used. He always get used. Always. Always. It's crazy how he get used. But he good at the battle. He good on the battlefield. But he just certain things, it's just like he didn't really, you gotta be a jack of all trades.
Is a brutally true metaphor. The fox is cunning, sees hidden dangers, knows how to move silently. The lion, on the other hand, imposes fear, strength, presence. Machiavelli does not say to be just one or the other. He says, be both. Be wise enough to perceive who is manipulating you and strong enough to make others think twice before trying. Do you want to be respected? Then understand, the virtue that Machiavelli recommends is not the one preached by moralists. It is virtù, a mix of courage, intelligence, audacity, and self-control. It is to act with coldness when necessary. It is to know that sometimes appearing cruel is the only way to maintain order, not out of malice, but out of wisdom. Here's another quote from him. "A man who wishes to act in all circumstances like a good man is doomed to ruin among so many who are not good." And you know this. You have been that man. You have tried to be good in every situation. And what did you gain? Abuse, silence, injustice. People do not play fair, and if you continue to play as if they do, you will always lose. This does not mean abandoning your values. It means stopping using them as shackles. It means starting to act with power. To think about how your goodness is being perceived and used by others. Machiavelli was not cynical. He was realistic. He saw humanity without romanticism, without veils. And he wrote The Prince as a manual for surviving in a world where appearance is power and weakness disguised as virtue is a death sentence. But perhaps now you are wondering, is there any way to balance this? How can I stop being naive without becoming a cold or evil person? In the next part, we will break the false idea that you only have two choices, to be nice or to be cruel. There is a middle path,
Strong.
and it begins with the strength to stop deceiving yourself.
You gotta be strong. Like, you gotta be very strong, because what you're gonna realize first is that you're actually weak. Like, that's what you gotta realize first. When you really, I'm telling you, like, I feel like that's the foundation of everything that has ever caused me to grow into somebody that's strong. When I was boxing, I had to find out that I wasn't that good. When I had to find a vision, when I found a vision for myself, I had to realize and accept that I did not know where I was. For me to be in shape, I first had to realize how skinny and weak I was and how much I couldn't do because of my body was just so weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me to get more confident, I had to realize that I see myself as worthless. I had to basically, you got to do that. It takes real strength, because that's a lot of times what we are running away from. Like, if you really think about it, that's what, like, we'll put it like this: whenever somebody that's fat, they run away from the fact that, bro, if I run, or if something bad happened and I gotta run, I'm fucked. It's like, but I don't want to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. Like, you gotta be strong to face that. You gotta be very strong to face that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
There is a fatal confusion that destroys the lives of many people. The idea that to be good, one must be submissive. That to be a good person, it is necessary to accept everything in silence, forgive everything without questioning, and live swallowing what bothers you to maintain peace. This is not kindness. This is naivety. It is cowardice disguised as virtue. And if you do not understand this difference, you will continue to be the emotional doormat of the world. True kindness does not require you to nullify yourself. It requires awareness, clarity, choice. Being good does not mean being a cheerful fool who is always available, always smiling, always sacrificing for those who wouldn't lift a finger for you. This is self-abandonment. It is emotional dependency disguised as morality. Naivety believes that people will treat you with the same heart that you have. Naivety believes that the world is fair and that if you are integral.
The truth reality of somebody that's that naive is that what they don't realize is that they don't really care about nobody. They just wanna get a certain feeling from people. You know, they wanna feel appreciated, they wanna feel seen, they wanna feel important. Like, they be wanting that from people, but the reality of it is that you're just doing that to get that feeling. You don't need that from other people. When you realize you don't need that from other people, you're naturally going to naturally choose to be an asshole, because you're going to really see what people trying to do. Like, you can see what people really trying to do. And I'm going to be honest, like, when you really see that, like, what people be trying to do, you realize real quickly how you can see what kind of person they are. You can just see what kind of person they are. And it'd be so funny to me for somebody to one thing you gotta realize: when you are an asshole to people, you realize what they're willing to do to try to get you to like them. One dude that was an asshole to me, the reason why we became friends is because I was an asshole to him for him being an asshole to me. And we instantly became friends. Cause I knew he was an asshole, and he knew I wasn't gonna take no shit from him or anybody else. So he was like, and we both became cool. We did not take. We fought a lot. We fought a lot. But it was like the real reality is that me and him both understood, and we really seen it, how we really moved outside of each other. How we gonna move and how we moved in the world. It was dope. It was dope. I'll be honest, it was dope. It's a rare sighting.
Others will recognize that. Naivety expects gratitude, reciprocity, consideration. And it lives frustrated. It lives disappointed. Because it is projecting onto others a nobility that does not exist. True kindness is different. It is firm. It knows how to say no. It knows how to walk away. It understands that not everyone deserves your best, and that giving your best to those who have nothing to offer in return is waste, not generosity. You can be a just, compassionate, and integral person and still be feared. Be respected. Be someone who commands presence, who knows what they tolerate and what they do not accept. Machiavelli, despite seeming cruel to modern eyes, did not hate virtue. He hated naivety. He knew that in a world full of predators, kindness without strength is just fresh meat in the middle of the jungle. The question you need to ask yourself now is your kindness protecting you or exposing you? Is it strengthening you or destroying you? Because if your idea of being good involves living by swallowing injustices, accepting crumbs, and blaming yourself for feeling anger, then you are not being good. You are being dominated. And there is an trade
You wouldn't settle for Bateman when there's Batman.
saying who you are. First, understand that your voice matters. You have been conditioned to think that complaining, setting boundaries,
Your voice is all you have. Your voice is dead ass all you have. Your opinions is all you have. Your feelings is all you have. Your ideas, your dreams, that's all you have. I'm telling you. That's dead ass. If you really do think this way, your life will change forever. Your life will change forever. Your life will never be the same if you really do think this way. I promise you. It will change forever.
or disagreeing is selfish. But that is a lie.
No, you don't have no. I'm telling you, what I mean by that is that you don't have nobody. You don't have anything around you is not worth more than that. When you really do, I'm telling y'all, when you really start to see that and you really move off of that, I'm telling you, because that's what true attraction is. Like, when you are so attracted, you are so obsessed with yourself, and you so obsessed with what you want, you so obsessed with what's going on with you. When you become obsessed, and then you be, just ask God for guidance, you're gonna turn into something else, man. I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna turn. I'm telling you. That's why I always say, bro, is keep God in your life. It's supposed to be you and God. Like, everybody else, they don't matter. I'm gonna keep it being. They do not matter. Not to that level. They should not matter. I don't give a fuck if it's your friend. I don't give a fuck if it's your family. I don't give a fuck if it's your baby. It should be you and God. I'm telling you, when that's the case.
Selfishness is expecting you to live silently while others speak over you.
I'm telling you.
Speaking up, taking a stand, saying, I do not accept this, that is dignity. It is self-respect. Second, practice saying no. Saying no is one of the most...
All right, man, I already got, I believe I probably got a video on a good bit of what he's saying. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Like I said, I'm not watching the whole video. I did my best to keep it as short as possible, but I did what I did, man. Leave a like down below, subscribe. Tell me what y'all got from this. What do y'all think? Do y'all agree with this? Do y'all disagree? Man, I gotta ask y'all though, what do y'all see in y'all selves from this? Like, what do y'all really get from this for y'all selves? Like, leave that in the comments, man. Leave that in the comments. I'm gonna see y'all and I see y'all, man. Peace.